So Dibs and I are just sitting here watching a video from last night in the Warrior game.
Man.
To the point that I made earlier, this team is being overwhelmed by frustration, man to man. Okay? Steve Kerr is short. Draymond Green can't stop, won't stop. Klay Thompson over on the bench, sulking. You going to bench me? And now Steph Curry, a series of acts on the court where I guess the best way to describe it is a complete and total exasperation sensation.
That's a buck.
Essentially with his teammates for not being able to get a defensive stop, for not helping, for being in the wrong spot. I mean, here's the other thing. While all of us go, hey, Steph, this is your fault for green lighting all these vets.
Right.
Well, have fun playing with a bunch of rooks.
That's the thing.
Guess what they're going to do? The wrong thing over and over again because that's what rookies do, and that's what he didn't want. So I'm not going to absolve Steph from, hey, sign Draymond for 4 years. We know he greenlit that Jordan Poole trade, anything else for that matter. I'm not going to say that he doesn't have a role in this, but what was his choice? Steph Curry wants the remainder of his career to be worth something. What are his two choices? Everyone's like, oh, we're mad at Steph for greenlighting Draymond. What was his other choice? You think that he and Kuminga are going to start a partnership that's going to win a championship in the next 2 to 3 years?
Well, that's the frustration about
choice.
Well, the frustrating part is, yes, you greenlit the vets. So let's talk about the vets for a minute. Chris Paul he's playing pretty well for being the second oldest player in the association.
I agree with you.
He's playing fine. Klay Thompson right now is being benched in crunch time. Draymond Green is punching opponents and getting multiple suspensions. Corey Joseph is unplayable. GP2 is hurt. Klay Thompson is, as I mentioned, not playing, and Andrew Wiggins played 15 minutes. Andrew Wiggins played 15 minutes in last night's basketball game.
3 points?
Is that what he had?
3?
I'd have to rack my brain to remember the 3.
I'll take a look.
3. 1 of 3 from the floor from 3.
Unreal.
He had 4 boards and an assist. He was a minus 19. So, yeah, Steph greenlit the vets, but vet 1, Draymond, 17 minutes, you got to go. Kevon Looney, 11 minutes. He did not shoot. Something's up with Kevon. I don't know if he's hurt or if it turns out he's actually 44 years old. Kevon's not the Kevon he was. So, yes, he greenlit the vets, but you've got a vet getting ejected, a vet Looney who doesn't play, a vet in Wiggins who might as well not play, a vet in Klay who gets benched, and a vet CP3 who actually has been low-key better than you thought that he would have been.
Yeah.
And the rest of your team is 20, 21, or 22.
No, it's all, you know what I mean, person by person right now. It's all tough. Let's go to RG and San Leandro. Let's get to as many of you, and thank you for your patience as we listened to what Draymond had to say last night. RG, what's up?
What's cracking, guys? How we doing?
We're doing good, man.
So, I've been listening all day to everybody, and everyone's got some interesting takes. So I got 2 points. The first point is this. Steve Kerr, I think he has done an exceptional job. I know, right now, we're just riding the roller coaster of the season. He's never been in a situation like this before, even when he was playing. Probably the worst year he had was his last year with the Spurs, as far as I'm concerned. The second thing, kind of to tie in everything, is okay, for me, the solution would be this. I don't know if you guys paid attention to what happened earlier in the year, or a few weeks back, where the Pistons, I think the 2005, 2006 Pistons, I think it was Rasheed Wallace, they were on a podcast, and they were saying that it was their fault that Draymond is the way he is. So then I got to thinking, well, why don't we hire one of them to kind of be like a coach to calm him down a little bit, because there doesn't seem to be any other voice, which everyone has been saying today, but there is no other voice that Draymond can listen to and respect to. So he's basically like the master, and he has no apprentice. I think he was trying to make Jordan Poole the apprentice, but didn't pan out the way he wanted. You know what I mean? Therefore, he's left by himself. He has no one to talk to, and no one to kind of just calm him down. So if we hire somebody from the outside to help the guy out, say, hey, you know what? It's okay. Someone who has been trained through the Jedi aunts.
Well, RJ, I guess, I mean, interesting idea. I just don't know how we would know if that person could get to Draymond. We've only known a couple of people, thanks, RJ, be able to get to Draymond through the years. And we know who the main guy was in these situations.
Yeah, and he's now wearing makeup on ESPN.
He's talking about it on ESPN. And so you're feeling it. You're feeling it, Warrior fans. The organization today and a number of times this year is feeling the absence of Bob Myers.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And I think David West was another guy who provided that veteran mentorship, a guy who could, probably speak to Draymond in terms of being a basketball tough guy. But now you've got a situation where he's been able to do what he wants, for lack of a better way to describe it. You punched a teammate in the face and you weren't suspended, and then you stomped on Sabonis. You got a game. You came back. This year, you had the incident earlier where you choked Rudy Gobert and you got 5, and now you threw a reverse 180-degree slap of a punch. And, Draymond Green saying in the comments we played last segment that it was clearly accidental and he apologizes and all the rest of it, but the league probably is not seeing it that same way. He's going to get suspended. We don't know for how long, but when Draymond Green comes back, let's say Draymond gets between 1 and 20 games, which is the most likely range, I would think, Mark. When Draymond Green comes back from whatever suspension he gets, would you anticipate he changes his behavior at all?
No. I'll never.
0%?
I will never. No, nothing's ever 0%, but I'd also never anticipate Draymond Green just buttoning it up all of a sudden.
New leaf? Turn it over?
No, I'm never going to. If it happens, great. You'll never find me anticipating it.
Right. And I don't think that anybody would anticipate that because it's not going to happen. And even, Draymond last night, we played the comments and he was saying over and over that it was an accident and that he was just trying to embellish a foul. He was trying to sell a call. And the way he sold it was to swivel around 180 degrees and swing his arm at the opponent, and he connected. And that's the way that went. So he's not going to change at all. And you're looking at 3.5 more years, 3 3/4 years of Draymond Green. So the team's got to decide whether or not they can you handle this, or have you had enough?
You know what else I think we need to enter into the conversation? There's so much frustration with Draymond Green. I don't know that I've ever encountered this in any city, any fan base, any team. You're talking about a 4-time minted champion, like beloved. At what point does the legacy that he's built suddenly come into question? I mean, honestly, it's after these players retire that usually whatever angst you had about them floats away. I'm so sick of Brandon Belt. Okay, and then he retires. Forever Giant. That's usually the way that goes. And Draymond is way higher level than, anybody outside of Steph and Clay right now, maybe Buster Posey, in terms of the recent decade and a half championship run in the Bay Area. This guy is among the top 5 as far as legacy and all of that. When does it become tarnished for some of you? Because I've never seen this. It's one thing to be like, oh, got to move on from this guy. What we're hearing is just like, you're like, we're done with him. I can't stand this guy anymore. Does it still feel that way when he's not playing anymore? Like, is this ruined not just now, but then?
Yeah, I don't think so, but you never know. It depends on kind of how it ends. And the name that I keep coming back to, and it's not an easy like-for-like comp in terms of the way they played basketball, but the way that they both continue to get in trouble with the league and the amount of titles that they have. Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman's a 5-time champion. So if you go to Detroit and you ask Detroit fan about Dennis Rodman, I'm sure that they think a lot differently than the Bulls fan would think about Dennis Rodman, because Rodman was one of the bad boys. And when Rodman was a Piston, he was not yet fully embroiled in all of the problems that he got into later in his career.
Right, he didn't have nose rings and red hair.
Well, and I was just looking at So I was Googling Dennis Rodman, and I saw something where he got a technical foul in 14 straight games. Now, this was before they had the automatic trigger where if you got 16, you got suspended. They didn't have a cap. Rasheed Wallace one year got 40 techs, I believe, and it was just what he did. He went out and he got a tech each and every night, but his were for barking. Rodman would get him for a wide variety of reasons, but I think that Draymond is heading toward the Dennis Rodman realm in terms of your legacy is going to be of a mixed legacy.
Well, and does he have it go kind of the way Rodman did, which he start bouncing around to other teams toward the end of his career, or is he what he set out to be and spoke about just at the end of last year, which is, I want to ride out with the guys I rode in with and wants to be a lifetime Warrior? The coach in Vallejo. Hey, coach, what's going on? Oh, hey, coach, before you start talking, let everybody know, if I could separate these two. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM, and HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Go ahead, coach. What's up?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good.
I don't know. Great. I'm having fun with this, actually. I don't know why I'm thinking like management, but if I was management, I would be thinking about my brand, okay? If I'm Steph Curry, I'm thinking about my brand. The Warriors have always been known as a Cinderella team, come up, win the championships, the cute, cuddly Steph Curry type thing. And now you got this Draymond thing going on. So not to belabor the point, but I would treat Draymond's situation, if I was the Warriors, the same way that they treated Marcus Allen on the Raiders. When he comes back, I would sit him on the bench. I would have him sitting behind Garuba and Quinones and Geek Santos at the end of the bench. I would bring him off the bench. I think that would be the biggest lesson you could give to someone with an ego as big as Draymond, to let him sit there and watch Kuminga and Moody and Pozinski and all these guys go off, and I would sit him there at least for the rest of this season.
Well,
what do you think?
Well, here's what we think. First of all, two things, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
I got a question for you. First, I want to congratulate you. You have now made every Willard and Dibs show for the rest of the year.
Pozinski?
Anytime somebody mispronounces Pajemski, they go into our vault. You and Shams both entered into the vault today. Shams.
Pozemski.
Yeah. Shams didn't, by the way.
Can I get Shams again?
Pozemski.
Not just that, but there was a massive pause before it.
Oh, really?
He's like, Brandon Pozemski.
Brandon Pozemski.
Somebody got his throat clear in there.
Brandon Pozemski.
Shanahan?
He had to look down at his sheet, and he's like, I mean, he looked like
Pozemski.
He looked like Steiny reading the legal. He was like, hold on a second.
That's a cheap shot.
Yeah, it was.
That's a 4, though. It's cheap, but it counted.
Steiny, I love you. I had to look at it just a second ago, too. So that's one part. But, Coach, in all real, what would that do? How do you think Draymond would react if they did that? What would the Warriors get out of that?
Two things. First of all, I'm glad I was hooked on phonics, but also, what I think Draymond, what he wants more than anything else in the world is attention, okay? And now that he can't get on the court, his voice will be silenced. He can't get in the game. He can't show up the refs. I think that would be the biggest lesson you could teach to Draymond. Now, what the Warriors would get out of it is that they would be showing the NBA and showing the rest of the world and showing the other teams that we are a disciplined team. We know how to take care of our own, and we're going to go on, and we want to be good guys, not bad guys.
Okay, so
I think it's, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Coach. Finish it up.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that it's a win-win, actually, because you're going to have to eat the contract one way or the other, okay? So don't suspend him. Make him suit up every game. Make him go through the warm-up line, but he'll never hear his name into the game, Draymond Green.
Yeah, but
won't hear this anymore.
Coach, I get it. And again, my ears, and thank you, Coach, my ears are always up for this, where it's like you just want to punish him. You just want to punish. You're so mad at Draymond Green. You just you want to embarrass him. You want to humiliate him. And while I understand that, my counter is, has that helped the Warriors?
Well, how's it help Steph? Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Who are you punishing here?
So Coach says, well, then you show the world that you're disciplined and you're good guys, which amounts to what in the NBA? I don't know any free agents who are like, you know what I'm looking for? I'm looking for some good people.
I'm looking for a structure that's going to hold me accountable.
Looking for some really nice people out there who are all about doing the right thing.
If you wanted to do the right thing, if you wanted to, quote, punish him and send a message, then you would have done it last year when he popped his teammate in the face, and you had the ultimate thing that Draymond Green wants, which is ring night. You get your ring in front of the hometown crowd. You won a championship. And introducing from Michigan State, Saganasty, put your hands together. And the rest of it, if you wanted to punish him, that's how you punish him. You go, you know what, Draymond? You punch a teammate, you don't get to go to ring night. And I'm sorry, but that's the way this is going to go. And now you're in a spot where even if you do what Coach said, who are you punishing? You're punishing Lacob, Dunleavy, Kerr, and Curry. And Draymond Green's still getting paid.
Yeah,
I'm sure he wants to play.
I remind everybody that when you watch sports, you can see it. You can see it over and over and over again. Sports teams are always put in a position of like the perfectly right moral thing to do. And then on the other side of the fence is what puts us in the best position to win? And what do you think they're going to pick every time? That's what Draymond has always known. That empowers him. You know, the organization has empowered him. Well, they've empowered him because they know that he's good. He helps them win, and he knows that. Here's why I feel like this week's different. This week is hitting different because, A, we're already coming off of a suspension where the league admitted we're not even really suspending you for what you did. We're suspending you for who you are. And then you combine that with, dude, your act is not helping them win. They're losing all their games. They're 4-11 in their last 15. So now your act is not helping. It's not fun. It's just ticking everybody off. It's been true about Draymond his whole career. If it's not combined with winning, we're out. Why do the rest of the league hates him?
We're out, but we're not out.
No, but
that's the maddening part.
Yeah, why the rest of the league hates him for one reason. He doesn't help them win.
Exactly.
So why would they like him? And I'll argue this until I'm blue in the face. All of us Warrior fans, if he were on a different team, we'd hate him too.
No doubt. He would be Dylan Brooks.
Yes.
He'd be the most hated figure in Golden State Warriors land. And if you ask the other 29 markets in the NBA, who is the most hated player in the association, he probably gets the most votes from other fan bases. But that, Mark, is where the problem truly lies, in my opinion, because he's not helping him win anymore. You're 10-13, and the number one ability is availability, and he's not available because he can't stop getting ejected and flagrants and suspensions. And so even when he's out there on the court, he's not the same player he was. He's not helping you win at the same rate he used to help you win. So you're not available because you're getting kicked out and suspended, and even when you are playing, you're not helping them win. And you saw Steph get frustrated last night, and Klay's getting frustrated, and Steve Kerr is exasperated, and this is year 1 of 4 for Draymond Green. 4 more years, 4 more years.
Yeah, that's the one on a day like today. That one,
it's tremendous.
It's tough. It's tough.